Hey, it's Ahron from Old Man Woodcraft. Today I'm going to try and create an illusion of a timepiece off-center. Going to take a round piece of wood, hold it on a faceplate. I don't use faceplates so often, so that's unique. And I'm going to square it and balance it and then mark it, and then you will see what's the next step. Don't forget, safety first, goggles, mask. I like to work as much as possible on the revolving center as a support. Now what I'm going to do now is the outside and the sides, from the sides like a rim, I'm going to finish, sandpaper it, and put the finish I'm going to use on this one. After a lot of tries, up and down, up and down, up and down, eventually I decided I'm going to do it with beeswax. And here I'm going to use my black line parting tool on the line that I marked before, and that will be step number 1. Out of 3 or 4 steps that I'm going to use, oops, it's out. Now I'm going to have a rim standing outside, and I'll continue. What I'm going to do now, what I'm doing now is I'm dropping the size of the inner ball or inner rim, and I'm going to mark it again, and then I will hollow it in the middle. Now I'm not going to hollow it all the way to the end. I'm going to leave a little bit of wood, and it will turn as a vessel. I could pull it out and glue another piece, but that's a very porous wood, so I can get this type of wood quite a lot. And the shavings I'm going to use for, I've got another project in my head that I'm going to use those shavings for it. After sandpaper it properly, I'm not going to do any finish, just sandpaper it. I'm marking a line in the middle, and with this scraper I'm going to do a groove, and I'm going to square the groove with a mini black line square tip. Now I'm going to have a groove in the inside and a groove on the outside, and in the groove in the inside I'm going to put pieces of glass in 2 angles, a 45-degree angle in and a 45-degree angle out. The 45 is more or less, and I'm going to glue it with super glue. And as you can see, what I'm doing is all the time I'm accelerating the glue, and now I'm drilling a hole straight in the middle of the line, and inside the groove on the inside of the ball, on the outside of the inside of the ball, I'm going to put LED lights. I'm using a small piece of round silicone that I've got, and I made 2 holes, and I put the wires through, and I'm going to push it inside, and that will create a barrier between that and the outside. It's not going to leak. I didn't put it in a pressure pot. I left it on purpose. I agitated all the time, trying to create bubbles. I don't see the bubbles at the moment. Maybe I'll see them later because they're small bubbles. But I did agitate it as much as possible, and it was deep pour, so it took few days to settle, so I hope that I didn't create a monster over there and it will look horrible, and I managed to create tiny bubbles. At this stage, what I'm doing now is I'm just sandpaper it all the way to 600, and then I'll be able to see if you can start seeing. And now I'm using wet sanding pads just to see how it looks inside all the way to the wood. And I think you can see already the wood, and it came out quite clear. Novus 3.2, heavy scratches and thin scratches. Drilling a 10mm all the way through, I think it's a 10mm, and finishing this side of this plate. At this stage, it looks like a plate. I use a hot gun glue to glue a tenant, so I can turn it around, remove the faceplate, and now I'm going to remove the wood. I'm going to turn the wood till I see, or I have a straight and flat see-through resin. Here you can see it now coming out slowly, and then I'll continue with the next step. Just want to see if it's clear enough from both sides before I continue further. Maybe I need still to work on sandpaper more. I'm using wet sand pads, and then I'm taking the middle off very slowly, very carefully. I'm worried that there is no support, so I have to take it down bite by bite. And now you can already see the see-through, and it's quite clear, but there is a haze with him. It's a square for my clock mechanism. To make it easier, I just drilled exactly the same size, and now with a hand router or a trimmer, everybody calls it differently, I created the hole, the square for the clock mechanism. And now you can see how clear it is, because you can see clearly my hand. And I'll start working on the electrical side of it, removing it from the lathe. I'll remove the hot gun glue, and now I'm creating the outside of the clock. The white haze that you see on the side, on the wood, I tried a new type of polish. It didn't work for me on this wood, so I go back to, on this side I'm going back to honey wax. I thought at the beginning also that there is scratches over there, but it was dust because it's electrical static. And now I'm starting to clear and polish the rim that I cut off previously. Inside this rim there was a lot of holes that I closed, and those I just sprayed 4 legs in black. And what happened here was that I drilled the holes. I drilled a pilot hole, and then I drilled a hole, and somewhere it cracked, and I decided to make it as a feature instead of throwing the whole thing away and getting another idea. So I'm cleaning it. I'm not cleaning, I'm adding a little bit of wood sealer, wood repair, and that will solve the problem. Not super glue, I used epoxy glue. And here what you see is I made on a different project, I made silicone molds with marbles. So I have 2 silicone molds, big marbles, round marbles, balls, and small ones also. So I used, I poured inside black resin, and that will be my basis for the legs. You will see now. In the big marbles, I drilled a hole the same size of the wooden leg, and the small marbles, I done nothing. Now you can see how I utilized the marbles, and I glued them together. Everything I glue with epoxy glue, and now I'm going to. I drilled 4 holes, 4 dents in the smaller rim, and they will sit exactly on those small marbles. Adding the clock mechanism, and then I'll put the hands, and we'll see how it looks like. When I looked at that carefully, you'll see it just now. I saw the bubbles that I tried to create. I managed, not exactly what I wanted, but it's not bad at all. And just now you will see, and you will tell me what you think. The number that you see on the wood, I managed to do on my new laser engraver. It came out very nice. I think so. I was hoping that it will stay in one place and it's not going to fall. And now, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, boom! Look at this color, and there is no shadows. And the reason why I put also the mirrors inside is to reflect into the resin and look at the color of the resin that came out. So if you like this project, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new. Here, subscribe. If you're not new, thank you very much for sharing my channel with other people. And put remarks at the bottom if you like it or if you don't like it. And I will see you in my next video. Thank you.